So Whitey Bulger, you guys know the mobster from the East Coast who was an FBI informant. He killed so many people. Three men were indicted on Thursday in the 2018 beating death of a fellow inmate, the famed Boston mob boss James Whitey Bulger, according to the Department of Justice. This is in a release Thursday, and it was the Greek homie, man, Fotios Gias, 55 years old, and then Paul DiCologero, the Italian guy, and Sean McKinnon, the Irish guy, were all charged with conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. According to the Department of Justice, Gias, DiCologero, and McKinnon were inmates at United States Penitentiary Hazleton in Brewston Mills, West Virginia, when they allegedly killed Bulger in October of 2018. And I hear a lot of these guys, these kids, and what's really sad is the adults these days, like kind of like idolize and gas up these triple OGs. That's in quotation marks, gangsters that have been in it for a long time and killed all these people, and they idolize them because they're quote unquote about that life. The vast majority of these guys don't even live by the code they said they live by. They snitch. Like Bulger. I mean, he's a prime example of this. And most of these mobsters too, they do the same thing, man. They, as soon as they see those numbers, man, they all flip. They all flip. I can't really think of too many guys that have not done that when they had the opportunity to do it. The guys like looking up to these guys, it's like looking up to the ceiling. There's nothing there. Like everything they see is just in their minds. It's like none of this is like real. But in addition to the conspiracy charges, Gias and DiCologero have also been charged with aiding and abetting first-degree murder and assault, resulting in serious bodily injury. Gias was additionally charged for murder by a federal inmate serving a life sentence, and McKinnon is charged with making false statements to a federal agent. So Bulger was most famously known for his time as a Boston mob boss and was one of America's most wanted criminals. In 2013, he was convicted of 11 murders and other crimes, after which he was sentenced to 2 consecutive life terms, according to the Associated Press. And when I posted this on Instagram, bro, I'm telling you, like, this is why I'm bringing this up, because it was sad, like, everybody talking in the comments, talking about I respect his gangster. Bro, I wish they would say that when the kids of those 11 people were present. Like, I wish I could bring them into the room and then make them say that. Because a lot of people get real quiet when everybody brings that up, but a lot of times the person is even innocent. But then, like, when they see the killer, oh, he's got this many bodies, oh, he's a real gangster. Like, no, man. No. It ain't no different from just anybody else killing anybody. It's just like, this Hollywood fascination with it is so messed up. But anyways, during his crime spree, Bulger also acted as an FBI informant. And law enforcement sources told CBS Mornings in 2018 that Bulger's eyes were nearly gouged out in the attack. His family sued the Federal Bureau of Prisons after his death, alleging it failed to protect him from the men. They said he was sentenced to life in prison, but as a result of decisions by the Federal Bureau of Prisons, that sentence has been changed to the death penalty, according to his lawyer. So Gias remains an inmate at the Hazleton Penitentiary, and DiCologero is still in the federal prison system. McKinnon, who was also on supervised release, was arrested Thursday in Florida, and he's charged in this as well. So I had done a story on Gias at the time, and typically like those Greek guys, we don't really have too many of our own gangs. I know there was like a Greek mob out in Philadelphia, but typically they join like the Italian stuff, which is sad, man, because the feds took him down, like, and I'd say good riddance to it, because having lived like in an area where that was going on, they did the same thing. Like they would stab everybody that was supposedly close to them in the back, like as soon as the money wasn't right or anything. The camaraderie was all fake. So the background on Fotios Gias: he was born in 1967. He's an American mobster associated with the Genovese crime family, based in New York City. He's a former mafia hitman operating out of Springfield, Massachusetts, and often worked with his brother Ty. He was accused of having orchestrated the 2018 murder of Bulger. He was born into a Greek family, and he could not be a made member of the Italian mafia because of that. But he and his brother were well-known enforcers within their own community. So the Gias brothers worked with Anthony Arolata, another mobster. In 2003, Arolata was formally inducted into the Genovese crime family, and he had requested that the Gias brothers kill his brother-in-law, a guy named Gary. And the acting boss, Arthur Negro, also organized a hit on aging gangster Adolfo Bruno. Both hits were carried out in 2003. So in 2009, Gias was charged with the murder of Gary Westerman and Adolfo Bruno. He was also indicted as a getaway driver in the failed assassination attempt on a Bronx cement union boss, Frank D'Abato, after D'Abato was involved in an argument with Negro over Tony Bennett concert tickets. So a lot of times the mob, they're viewed as like this more classy, like sophisticated gang than some of these street gangs, and I keep telling guys this. That's the Hollywood version, man. The way Hollywood portrays it, it ain't nothing like the movies. I can tell you this is somebody that used to have neighbors that were all in the mob. Bro, when you see it from the inside out, how it is, like you ain't gonna never be entertained by those movies again. So during the 2011 trial, Gies was shocked to see his former associate Arolada testify against him. Again, stabbing each other in the back. He was known for his strict code, Gies was, but he despised snitches and men who abuse women, and he refused to cooperate with law enforcement and was sentenced to life in prison. So that's the exception to the rule, okay? If you sign up for this and you want to, live by that code, you're going to be like the exception, not the rule. Everybody else is going to be turning on you, and you're going to be asking yourself, like, who am I being loyal to? Guys that ain't loyal to me. That's basically what he was doing. And on October 29th of 2018, the Bulger was transferred from the Federal Transfer Center in Oklahoma City to the United States Penitentiary Hazleton in West Virginia. And at 8:20 a.m. on October 30th, the 89-year-old man was found unresponsive in the prison. And Bulger was in a wheelchair and had been beaten to death by multiple inmates armed with a sock-wrapped padlock and a shiv. I mean, his eyes had been nearly gouged out and his tongue almost cut off. This was the third homicide at the prison in a 40-day span. Correctional officers had warned Congress just days before the most recent Hazleton death that facilities were being dangerously understaffed. Gies was the primary suspect in orchestrating the killing of Bulger, and in August 2022, he, along with Paul DiColodro and Sean McKinnon, were indicted on first-degree murder charges, which is just taking place. Yeah, when everybody else jumped ship and started signing papers, Gies didn't. But, like I said, he's being loyal to something that ain't loyal to him, so now he's, looking at probably the rest of his life in prison behind bars. Having just been recently locked up, I can tell you guys, man, like, there's been a lot of deaths in the prison system over just, like, stuff like this, like total negligence, like a guy who obviously is at a high risk of being killed. They put rival gang members in the same cell with each other. I mean, it's all type of dirty stuff that goes on. There was a guy locked up with me. He was like some type of drug addict. I think he was on heroin. I'm not sure what drug he was on, but he started coughing up blood, like right there. It was about me and probably like 30 other guys. We were waiting down in that like hallway. For anybody that's ever been to Cook County Jail, it's like down at the bottom level. You're in that hallway where like the virtual courtroom is like on one end. They're doing the bond hearings, at least when I was in there last year, because of COVID, like virtually, and they make you wait in this big hallway when you're waiting to go in for the bond hearing. So there was, this drug addict guy. He was coughing up blood like profusely. I mean, he was like filling up the bag in the garbage can, and he was like yelling to the COs that were just sitting there chilling, like a little bit further down the hall, talking about like I'm coughing up blood, man. They just looked at him and just went right back to talking. Didn't even do nothing. And this guy's like looked like he was literally about to die right there, and they did absolutely nothing. I don't know what happened to the guy, but there was just another death of an inmate at Cook County Jail recently due to some medical emergency, and it's no surprise. I'm surprised there's not more deaths. If you're diabetic or whatever, like it's a different world in there. Like it really is a different world. Like when guys can get away with stuff, and there's no eyes on you, or the repercussions aren't really going to be there. Man, the floodgates just open up, and like human depravity, you see it in its worst form, because the stuff that goes on in there, man, like I said, putting rival gang members in the same cell and then letting them tear each other apart. I mean, it's like, man, it's like a movie. You don't want to be in that movie. Your boy Winnie C. Report. I'm out.